We're in a funk. We're in a funk. I'm in a funk. We gotta stop. We're all at a rap concert with those guys. Those guys are singing. None of these people have masks on though.
No.
They can't be at a concert without masks.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a mask.
Look, can I see?
What should the police do? There's the police.
Yeah, they are watching them.
They're watching them? They're gonna give them tickets and arrest them all?
Yep. I will do. Fight.
Put your masks on. There's coronavirus around.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the cops took out even the rappers?
Good girl. Good boy.
So, these things are called homies. Babs and I don't know why we collected these things forever ago.
Let's do it again.
But they used to be like in vending machines.
Let's do it again.
And I imagine you can't find these anymore.
Let's do it again.
They'd probably be so,
What?
I don't know, offensive or something. But they are...
They keep falling.
We collected like almost every single one. Like we had so many. Like so many little homies.
Let's do it again, Uncle Matt.
Do it again.
But not after all.
This guy.
They can't
that dude.
stand up. I got tape.
Tape? You're gonna tape him? Oh. It was just one of those days today. Just an off day. I had a ton of stuff I'm doing on the computer right now, just editing and a bunch of stuff like that. So started getting a major headache. I think it's just from sitting in front of the computer all day long trying to edit and do stuff. Just spent so much time editing. I've got a bunch of work, which is good. And then we got 2 weddings coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday, back to back. So that's fun. That'll keep us busy. But I'm just trying to get all this other work done on the side, and then just get stuff done around the house, and just running a million miles an hour, it seems like. And I love it because it's good. That's the way I go. That's the way I operate, is a million miles an hour. That's why I got Babs. Babs is like, you know, the opposite, to slow me down, reel me back in sometimes. So just one of those days. There was nothing vlog worthy today at all, because I was sitting in front of a computer and it was absolutely boring. Nothing went on with the coyotes. Check the trail cams, we got nothing. Chicks are doing good. Looks like they're not as scared as they were. So maybe that was just like a one-off with the coyote, I don't know. But he hasn't been back around yet, so that's good. Kids got school that they're jumping back into. Soccer is starting this week. The girls have their first game. Football is coming around. Football has their first game this week. Bearden just backed out because they have COVID problems with the football team, so they're not playing their first 2 weeks worth of games. And that was one of the things I found myself doing as I was sitting there on the computer. It's like I sit there, and if you don't know anything about editing, you put all your media files into a timeline and you kind of create your movie or your video, whatever you're doing, and then you render files in between, so that way it goes through and it processes all the clips and music and everything the way it should be, so that way you can watch playback how it's going to come out. So I sit there and I render stuff, and some files are bigger than others, and it takes time. So, you know, I hit tab and jump over to the internet, which is deadly right now. You know, and I just read through stuff, and Twitter is a disaster, but it's just sucks you right in, and you just love to read through all the stuff. But then, like I said, you get sucked in, and it's like you just read so much crap. It's so much garbage. Part of it just depresses me, and I just sit back and like I watch us as humans interact and how silly it is. Like the stuff we're arguing about masks, arguing about presidential candidates right now, the new Green Deal, the gender stratosphere. We got sucked into that one. The gender universe. There's a whole slew of them out there. Didn't know. But just watching the toxicity and the negativity, and just people just back and forth, and just the comments on posts, and just social media just provides that curtain and that wall. You can just go on there and say whatever the hell you want. I mean, just watching, like, our president's brother died, and there was just thousands of tweets. Like, I think the hashtag was wrong Trump or something. Like, I just don't get it. Someone lost a family member, and the internet gives you that wall to give you freedom to comment and just be a crappy person. I just don't get it. Like, I don't know, and maybe that's what put me in the funk all day, and just didn't feel like doing much as far as vlog-wise goes. And, you know, I've said it before on here, that's good. Like, that's fine. Like, we all need, like, those days, and it's good to recognize those days and accept those days for what they are. And this was definitely one of those days. And it just cracks me up watching people just think the internet gives them every right to be a crappy person and just say what they want when they would not say that in person to somebody. And there's a lot of scary stuff too. Like, some friends sent me some stuff from some farmers and some ranchers in Texas and some farmers up in Iowa with that derecho that I talked about last week that hit up there in, like, Iowa, how many crops they lost and the damage that is done, and the media is not covering it. The media is not covering Cannon's death, a little 5-year-old that was shot dead in the street on his bike by his neighbor. It's just a funky place we're in right now, and what stinks is the media is driving it. And my frustration, I mean, it comes from YouTube, Instagram, all of it, you know? Like my buddy Zach said, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are the perfect example of socialism, right? They're free to use. You can use it. You have no say in how it works, though. You have zero privacy. The people that created it are getting rich in the background. And then the minute you say something that they don't agree with or they don't like, they can take it down. And this is going, you know, for so many different platforms and things. And the media is killing me right now, and that's why I'm okay taking a time out and a pause on something, like, without trying to, like, force content or make something not what it is, because there's enough of that going on. And, you know, sometimes I like to just hit off, you know, and take it off, you know, and then just come back here and sit in front of the camera and talk like this, because this is what I'm thinking. This is how my day is going right now. So it's just very, very frustrating. There's a lot going on, like I was saying, with the farmers and the ranchers, some messages and videos that I've received on how much cattle is being destroyed, how many crops are being destroyed. There's a major disrupt in the food chain right now, and it's not being reported anywhere. And there's firsthand testimonial from all these farmers and ranchers, but it's buried in there. You got to find it. But when you do, and you see these farmers and ranchers that have spent decades doing what they do, you know, providing quality, approved beef, U.S. approved, you know, it's been through all of the regulations and everything, and they're being told that they have to basically, you know, kill it all off. But in the same breath, the U.S. is importing beef from Brazil and Namibia or something, like somewhere crazy that has no regulation. We don't know where this came from. It's not regulated, nothing. But we're importing the beef from there, and that's okay. But our supply chain of U.S. farmer-produced cow and crops is supposed to be terminated and ended right now. There's a major issue in the food supply chain. Like, you think that stuff is hard to get right now? Wait until fall comes around. And there's some interesting stuff with COVID as it is. You know, obviously this is an impact from COVID. And when I was on Facebook, I had a post about Facebook back in January. I addressed the coronavirus because I thought it was odd. I thought it was odd timing, and how crazy that China got this mysterious virus all of a sudden. Because if you looked at China at that time, they were knee-deep in protests, in the Hong Kong protests. Their citizens were marching the streets relentlessly, waving American flags, talking about the First Amendment, talking about free speech, singing our national anthem, saying that it was time to turn against that government, that communist Chinese government that was holding them back and silencing them. China couldn't get control of it. Like, it went on for months. And then all of a sudden in January, February, or late December, whenever it was, the coronavirus came around. Protests stopped. Whole place was shut down. People were locked in their houses, all of a sudden because of this virus. Then all of a sudden this virus just takes off. Spreads all over the place, destroys the U.S. economy. And I wrote that in the Facebook post, and I also wrote about China's love for biological warfare. They've always been fascinated by it, right? So biological warfare is a way of fighting and gaining without destroying. So if you're crazy and you just launch a nuke, right? Boom, nuke comes over to the U.S., blows it up. You ruin the land. Land's ruined for who knows how long. You've ruined the crops, the animals, everything with it, right? The resources, all that stuff, right? You send a virus over, land's still good. Animals are still good, resources are still good, but you take care of the population. You start picking them off, right? So I talked about that in that post, and that post was removed. That post was reported and removed within 72 hours. And that was where, like, I kind of was like, Facebook, that's interesting. Like, I'm not down with this. And here we are. Here we are, 14 days to flatten the curve, 140 some odd days into this quarantine or isolation game that we're playing, where we're wearing masks and doing this stuff. And I was thinking about it today. We went to the store. And there's a piece of plexiglass in front of me with a little cutout that says pay here. And the cashier talks to me on this side. Hands me groceries on this side, hands me my receipt on this side, has the mask below their nose. What are we doing? Like, it's a circus. Like, this is a joke. Like the whole restaurant thing, walking in the restaurant with your mask on to walk 10 feet and then sit down and take the mask off. I mean, really, we're playing this game? Like, this is how we're doing it. So, and that's what gets my mind thinking, is like, we have all this stuff going on in the background, right? You got George Floyd, you got BLM, you got all this injustice that's going on, you got the masks, you got coronavirus, you got the presidential race, right? The election coming up. All this stuff going on distracting the U.S. The U.S. is just fighting with each other. Just like you go on social media and everyone's fighting, right? But in the background, what's going on? There's stuff going on in the background that we're not paying attention to. That's how it always works, right? And that's what scares me next, is what's going to happen. Read an article, China bought up a ton of land in Texas, right by the Air Force Base, one of our biggest Air Force bases where we train pilots. They bought up a ton of acreage to put a wind farm in. Why would China want to put a wind farm right there in Texas, right by one of our Air Force bases? I don't know a lot of stuff. I'm just a guy that used to live in California and moved to Tennessee, but the wheels start turning and I think about things, you know? Conspiracy theory or not, this stuff isn't right now, right? And the sad thing is people are not talking about it because they're scared. They're scared to offend somebody. They're scared someone else is going to say something about them. People have lost what makes them themselves. their personality, their independence, what makes them creative, what makes them them. Because we're fearing the other side. We're fearing the other judgment, the other opinion, the other voice, right? Those are louder than our own. And that's one thing that Tennessee has taught me, is to be louder and more comfortable with my own voice, right? And I guess that's why I'm talking right here and just babbling on in front of a camera that I'm going to post on the internet. But I just hope that someone else is out there and wants to say something and isn't saying anything because of that, and maybe all of a sudden it's going to click and they're going to be like, you know what, yeah, something's not right. Because the more we talk about it and the more that it gets brought up and brought to our attention, the more we start to wake up and realize things. So, who knows? Conspiracy theory? Sure. Crazy? Maybe. Doesn't hurt to think about it and say it out loud, though. I don't know. We're in a funk. We're in a funk. I'm in a funk. We gotta stop. So that is it. That is it for today. Sorry I don't have anything entertaining, y'all. We will be back. Hopefully we're back to regular scheduled program tomorrow. Hopefully just a good night's sleep. Get out of this funk. Get away from the computer. I'm not touching my phone. Nothing tonight. I don't want to see it. Do not want to see it. But I am dragging Babs on the podcast, so if anybody has a question or something they want to hear from Babs, be sure to leave it in the comments below. Let me know. Let her know. She's very outspoken and will tell you exactly what's on her mind, and she does not hold back, kind of like what I was just talking about. But she's shy. Like, she doesn't do it. Like, she won't do it in front of the camera. She won't do it on a podcast. So it's going to take a lot for me to twist her arm and get her to do this and get her to come out. But it'll be good. It'll be fun. So y'all will see a little bit more of Babs, which is what I want everyone. I want to share. I want to share more people and share everybody with you guys, especially the girls, if I can get them on. So we shall see. But that is it from Tennessee. Appreciate y'all. Keep your head up. Keep asking questions. And if something's not right, say something. Ask. Do some research. And don't just rely on the internet. Do some research. Like, if I repost something on Instagram, if I see something, my go-to is usually I'll read 5 other articles about it and then come to my own conclusion, and then I go with it. So, I don't know. Keep your head high, though. That's it from Tennessee, y'all.